if I'm not mistaken, I think that some of you guys were cheering for me, so I appreciate it a lot. And I hope you guys enjoy the next match. But thank you for cheering for me for now.
Win or lose tomorrow, I think it's great for me to learn. Obviously, facing a player like Coco is, something people would kill to do.
Yeah, thank you guys for all the support. Super happy to be playing with Alex, and hope you guys can keep.
Alexandra Eala and her supporters showed up in a massive way, and this time, their energy poured directly into Coco Gauff's showdown with Elise Mertens. The stadium wasn't just loud, it was vibrating. And a huge reason for that was the unmistakable presence of Eala's loyal fan base. They didn't arrive to politely clap between points. They came to ignite the atmosphere. Every rally, every forehand, every defensive scramble from Gauff was met with thunderous cheers. It felt less like a neutral match and more like a home court takeover. When Gauff sealed the victory over Mertens, she made something very clear. She turned toward the stands and openly thanked the Eala fans who had rallied behind her. That moment mattered. But what came next mattered even more. Gauff didn't just express gratitude, she acknowledged the phenomenon. She recognized that the buzz around Alexandra Eala is real. And when a Grand Slam champion of Gauff's caliber publicly validates a rising star's impact, that sends shockwaves. It confirms what supporters have been saying all along: Eala isn't just a promising prospect or a feel-good headline, she's building something powerful. Then came the press conference, and Eala elevated the narrative even further. Standing before the media, she spoke with sincerity and hunger. She said there's no greater opportunity for her right now than stepping onto the court against Gauff in a match of this magnitude. Not intimidation. Not hesitation. Excitement. She described it as a dream opportunity, the kind athletes chase their entire lives. That mindset is everything. She doesn't view facing Gauff as an obstacle. She sees it as a privilege. That perspective separates contenders from pretenders. It reveals ambition without fear. Respect without submission. Eala isn't satisfied with participation. She wants collision. She wants the biggest stage, the toughest opponent, and the loudest spotlight. And when you combine that mentality with a global fan base capable of transforming the energy inside a stadium, that's when things start to feel historic. The question now is simple and thrilling: when these two finally meet across the net, will the moment belong to the established champion, or the fearless rising force who's ready to claim it?
Win or lose tomorrow, I think it's great for me to learn. Obviously, facing a player like Coco is, something people would kill to do.
The admiration between Coco Gauff and Alexandra Eala is impossible to ignore. Every shared practice session, every public comment, every sideline moment adds another layer to a connection built on respect and competitive fire. And honestly, it's one of the most fascinating dynamics unfolding in women's tennis right now. But here's where the narrative needs balance. Bringing Aryna Sabalenka into this as someone who can't stand their rise oversimplifies a far more complex reality. Sabalenka isn't reacting emotionally to friendships or alliances, she's responding to competition. That's what elite champions do. For Sabalenka built her reputation on raw power, fearless shot-making, and relentless baseline aggression. She earned her dominance through titles, consistency, and the ability to overwhelm opponents. When new challengers emerge, whether it's Gauff refining her all-court game or Eala climbing the ranks, that doesn't threaten her identity. It sharpens it. The WTA landscape isn't a soap opera. It's an arms race. Gauff is evolving: stronger serve, smarter point construction, elite defense turning into offense. Eala is rising with tactical intelligence and fearlessness. Sabalenka continues to bring explosive power and championship pedigree. These trajectories colliding doesn't signal jealousy. It signals depth. And that's the exciting part. We're not watching one champion being replaced. We're witnessing a field stacking with elite contenders. Gauff isn't building alliances, in a political sense, she's building respect. Eala isn't joining a camp, she's earning her space. Sabalenka isn't uncomfortable, she's adapting, because that's what champions do when the bar rises. A changing of the guard? Maybe. Or maybe it's something even better, a golden era where multiple alpha competitors push each other to levels we haven't seen before. That's not rivalry rooted in resentment. That's rivalry fueled by excellence. And when these forces meet on court, that's when the real story gets written.
Hi everybody, it's Alex and Coco here. Thank you so much for all the support that you've been giving us this week. And hopefully in our next match, a lot of you will come out and watch.
At the Australian Open, their interaction reportedly went deeper than casual practice hits. When an established Grand Slam champion takes time to break down technical mechanics for a rising player, that's meaningful. And when the younger player responds with curiosity, intensity, and immediate application, that's how growth accelerates. The technical exchange Gauff's serve evolution over the past few seasons has been well documented. She's worked through toss inconsistencies, rhythm adjustments, and second serve aggression. Those lessons aren't theoretical, they're battle-tested under slam pressure. So when she explains the importance of a consistent ball toss, how shoulder rotation creates controlled power, why second serve confidence changes match dynamics, that insight carries weight. And what stands out about Eala? She doesn't just listen. She experiments. She tests adjustments immediately. She asks why something works, not just how to copy it. That active learning mindset is rare. You can often see improvement in fragments, cleaner contact point, more margin over the net, better placement under pressure. Those small refinements stack quickly when the foundation is strong. Where they stand right now, let's be realistic. Gauff is operating at a fully elite tier, proven major champion, top-tier defensive speed, physically dominant baseline presence, big match composure. Eala, meanwhile, is still building, refining serve consistency, adding weight to her first delivery, developing three-point weapons, gaining reps against top-5 opposition. That gap, it exists. And that's normal. But here's the exciting part, it's shrinking. Eala isn't static. She's adapting in real time. She's absorbing knowledge from players who have already solved problems she's just beginning to face. That shortens the development curve dramatically. Why this matters? This isn't about mentorship in a traditional sense. It's about shared ambition at different stages of the journey. Gauff sharpens her own game by articulating it. Eala accelerates hers by learning from lived experience. That kind of exchange benefits both sides. And if the trajectory continues the way it's trending, the next time they meet across the net in a high-stakes match, the margins will be tighter. The exchanges longer. The tactical battle deeper. That's how eras evolve, not through rivalry alone, but through influence. And watching that progression unfold in real time? That's the kind of storyline that makes this sport endlessly fascinating. When Alexandra Eala takes down a top-tier opponent like Jasmine Paolini, that's not luck. That's form peaking. That's timing, confidence, and execution aligning at once. You don't beat players of that caliber unless you are striking the ball clean, thinking clearly under pressure, and believing you belong on that stage. And right now, Eala is playing the most complete tennis of her young career. But what makes this phase so compelling isn't just her individual surge, it's the synergy building between her and Coco Gauff. If they continue training together, exchanging ideas, sharpening each other's weapons, this could evolve into something rare in the WTA, a partnership that naturally transforms into a rivalry. The kind where both players elevate because the other exists. Why their dynamic works? Its contrast. Gauff brings explosive athleticism, Grand Slam tested composure, big match experience under global spotlight, tactical resilience built from years inside the top tier. Eala brings fearless hunger, creative shot-making instincts. Rapid adaptability, a relentless desire to improve. When experience meets acceleration, progress compounds. Gauff has already climbed the mountain. She understands what breaks down under pressure: serve rhythm, second ball positioning, emotional control. Eala is absorbing those lessons before she has to learn them the hard way. That shortens development cycles dramatically. And here's what should make the rest of the field pay attention: Eala isn't intimidated by the gap. She's studying it. She knows she's chasing. But she's closing. If this continues, their future matches won't just be contests, they'll be layered tactical chess battles. Power versus precision. Speed versus structure. Champion versus challenger. And somewhere in the background, established forces like Aryna Sabalenka are watching the landscape shift. The dominance at the top isn't disappearing, but it's being challenged from multiple angles now. Beyond tennis, what makes this storyline special isn't marketing hype. It's authenticity. You can see it in practice sessions, in shared laughs during warm-ups, in the competitive fire without hostility. This isn't forced branding. It's two elite competitors who genuinely respect each other's work. That combination, mutual respect plus competitive ambition, is powerful. It creates growth without resentment, rivalry without bitterness, pressure without fear. And if Eala keeps stacking wins the way she just did, the narrative changes again. Because eventually, training partners become equals. And equals become legends when they collide on the biggest stages. When you watch Coco Gauff and Alexandra Eala share a court, it's impossible to miss the chemistry. The smiles between drills. The quick nods of approval after a clean winner. The way they clap for each other's sharp returns instead of pretending not to care. None of that looks staged. It feels natural. What stands out most is how relaxed they are together. The communication is easy. There's warmth in it. You see two competitors who genuinely enjoy the process, pushing each other, challenging each other, and still celebrating each other's progress. And that balance is incredibly rare. Tennis is one of the most isolating sports in the world. It's just you out there. No substitutions. No teammate to absorb pressure. No one to hide behind when momentum turns. The grind can harden people. It can make players guarded. So when you see a mentorship dynamic forming inside that environment, especially between two athletes who could very easily become long-term rivals, it feels significant. Gauff brings experience from the biggest stages. She understands the emotional weight of Grand Slam nights, the scrutiny, the expectation. Eala brings fresh energy and fearless ambition. Together, that exchange accelerates growth on both sides. And yes, when you look at someone like Aryna Sabalenka, who built her dominance on sheer force and competitive intensity, you can sense how the atmosphere around the tour is evolving. The next generation isn't just competing, they're collaborating, learning, forming bonds that strengthen them collectively. This isn't about being soft. It's strategic. A supportive environment sharpens skills faster than isolation ever could. What Gauff and Eala appear to be building goes beyond rankings, trophies, or highlight reels. It's culture. It's an example for younger players watching from afar, proof that you can be ruthless between the lines and respectful beyond them. If they continue on this trajectory, we may look back years from now and realize we witnessed the early chapter of something special, a partnership that fueled a rivalry. A rivalry that elevated a generation. A generation that reshaped the tour. And the most exciting part? They're still at the beginning.